From stage to siege, the making of a wartime leader. Volodymyr Zelensky's story is nothing short of extraordinary. A comedian and actor by profession, few could have predicted his trajectory. Zelensky rose to fame through his production company, Kvartal 95, captivating audiences with his wit and charm. His satirical portrayal of a schoolteacher thrust into the presidency in the television series Servant of the People resonated deeply with Ukrainians yearning for change. In a surprising turn of events, life imitated art. Zelensky's on-screen persona became his reality as he won the 2019 presidential election with a landslide victory, riding a wave of popular support for his anti-corruption platform. Little did he know that his presidency would be defined by a conflict that would shake the very foundations of his nation and test his leadership in unimaginable ways. The world watched in disbelief as Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine on February 24, 2022. In the face of this existential threat, Zelensky's response was immediate and resolute. He refused to flee Kiev, choosing instead to stand shoulder to shoulder with his people. His defiant words, "The fight is here, I need ammunition, not a ride," echoed across the globe, transforming him from a political novice into a symbol of Ukrainian resistance. Zelensky's wartime leadership has been lauded by many as the embodiment of courage and patriotism, a modern-day Winston Churchill rallying his nation against a formidable enemy. Zelensky's background as an entertainer proved to be an unexpected asset in the realm of international diplomacy. His charisma and communication skills, honed through years of performing, allowed him to connect with global audiences on an emotional level. He addressed parliaments and international organizations, delivering impassioned pleas for support. His efforts were instrumental in securing billions of dollars in military and humanitarian aid, bolstering Ukraine's defenses, and providing a lifeline to its beleaguered citizens. Zelensky's ability to garner international sympathy and mobilize support for Ukraine's cause has been nothing short of remarkable, cementing his image as a wartime hero in the eyes of many. However, Zelensky's leadership has also attracted its share of criticism and controversy. His decision to impose martial law, while understandable given the circumstances, has raised concerns about the erosion of democratic norms. The suspension of elections, the banning of certain political parties deemed pro-Russian, and the closure of some churches have fueled accusations of authoritarianism. Critics argue that Zelensky has exploited the war to consolidate power and silence dissent, portraying him as a leader more concerned with self-preservation than democratic principles. The line between necessary wartime measures and a slide into authoritarianism is often blurred, and Zelensky's actions have sparked a heated debate about the delicate balance between security and freedom in times of conflict. Born in Kryvyi Rih, a city in central Ukraine, Zelensky grew up in a Jewish family. His early life was marked by a passion for performance and a keen sense of humor. He studied law at the Kryvyi Rih Institute of Economics, but his heart was set on the entertainment industry. Zelensky's rise to fame began with his involvement in the comedy troupe Kvartal 95, which he co-founded. The troupe's success on Ukrainian television paved the way for his acting career. His role in Servant of the People, where he played a teacher who unexpectedly becomes president, was a turning point. The show's popularity and its themes of anti-corruption and reform resonated with the public, setting the stage for his real-life political career. Zelensky's transition from entertainer to politician was swift and unexpected. His campaign focused on fighting corruption and bringing transparency to the government, which struck a chord with voters disillusioned by the status quo. His landslide victory in the 2019 presidential election was a testament to his appeal and the public's desire for change. As president, Zelensky faced numerous challenges, but none as daunting as the Russian invasion in 2022. Zelensky's leadership during the war has been a defining moment in his career, showcasing his resilience and ability to inspire both his nation and the world. Zelensky, a beacon of courage in Ukraine's darkest hour. The image of Volodymyr Zelensky, clad in military fatigues, rallying his people against the Russian invasion has become iconic. His decision to remain in Kiev, despite the imminent threat to his life, has earned him widespread admiration. This act of defiance sent a powerful message to both his citizens and the world. Ukraine would not be cowed by Russian aggression. Zelensky's courage has been a source of inspiration for Ukrainians, bolstering their morale and determination to resist the invasion. Beyond his symbolic presence, Zelensky has played a crucial role in galvanizing international support for Ukraine. His impassioned speeches at the United Nations, the European Parliament, and the US Congress have struck a chord with global audiences. Zelensky effectively framed the conflict as a battle between democracy and authoritarianism, between a nation fighting for its right to exist, and an imperial power seeking to redraw the map of Europe by force. His eloquence and ability to connect on an emotional level have been instrumental in turning the tide of international opinion in Ukraine's favor. Zelensky's efforts have translated into concrete support for Ukraine. The United States, under the Biden administration, has committed billions of dollars in military aid, providing Ukraine with advanced weaponry and intelligence to counter Russia's military might. European nations have followed suit, imposing crippling sanctions on Russia's economy and providing humanitarian assistance to Ukraine. Zelensky's success in rallying international support has been crucial in sustaining Ukraine's resistance and imposing significant costs on Russia for its aggression. However, some argue that Zelensky's portrayal as a heroic figure is overblown and masks a more complex reality. Critics point to his close ties to Ukrainian oligarchs and his failure to address corruption effectively before the war as evidence of his own shortcomings. They argue that Zelensky is more concerned with his public image and maintaining power than with the well-being of ordinary Ukrainians. While acknowledging his courage in the face of Russian aggression, these critics view Zelensky as a flawed leader who has benefited from a carefully constructed narrative that exaggerates his virtues and downplays his flaws. Despite the criticisms, Zelensky's leadership during Ukraine's crisis has undeniably shaped the nation's resilience and its fight for sovereignty. The price of war. Zelensky's controversial decisions. The fog of war often obscures the line between necessary measures and abuses of power. Volodymyr Zelensky's wartime leadership has been marked by both decisive action and controversial decisions. To his credit, Zelensky acted swiftly to unite the country and mobilize its defenses against the Russian invasion. He imposed martial law, which allowed for the mobilization of Ukraine's armed forces and the restriction of certain civil liberties deemed essential for national security. These measures, while controversial, were arguably necessary to prevent the collapse of the Ukrainian state in the face of an existential threat. However, Zelensky's decision to suspend elections and ban certain political parties has drawn sharp criticism. While the Ukrainian constitution allows for the suspension of elections during wartime, critics argue that Zelensky has exploited this provision to consolidate power and silence dissent. They point to the banning of opposition parties accused of having ties to Russia as evidence of Zelensky's growing authoritarian tendencies. The closure of certain churches affiliated with the Moscow Patriarchate has also raised concerns about the suppression of religious freedom. Zelensky's supporters argue that these measures are justified by the exigencies of war. They maintain that Russia has actively sought to destabilize Ukraine from within, using propaganda and political subversion to undermine its sovereignty. In their view, Zelensky's actions are necessary to counter Russian influence and ensure the unity of the Ukrainian people in the face of aggression. They argue that it is precisely during times of crisis that strong leadership is required, even if it means curtailing certain freedoms temporarily. The debate over Zelensky's wartime decisions highlights the difficult choices faced by leaders during times of conflict. The need to ensure national security must be balanced against the protection of democratic values and human rights. While Zelensky's actions can be understood in the context of a brutal and unprovoked war, it is essential to scrutinize his decisions and hold him accountable for any abuses of power. The future of Ukrainian democracy may well depend on finding the right balance between security and freedom. Zelensky's international diplomacy has also been a point of contention, with some arguing that his alliances have brought much-needed support, while others believe they have compromised Ukraine's sovereignty. The human cost of these decisions is evident in the lives of ordinary Ukrainians who continue to endure the hardships of war. As the war drags on, the true impact of Zelensky's controversial decisions will continue to unfold, shaping the future of Ukraine. So, what's the real story behind Zelensky's wealth? Is he really a billionaire in hiding? Well, let's dive into the facts and separate the truth from the rumors. We'll examine his financial disclosures, business ventures, and the claims made by his critics. Stay tuned because the truth might just surprise you. Zelensky's financial records reveal offshore accounts and luxury properties. Investigative journalists have uncovered connections to business partners and hidden assets. Despite his public statements, media scrutiny continues to raise questions. Now let's talk about Zelensky's role in Ukraine's ongoing struggles. How has his leadership impacted the country's agony? From political decisions to economic policies, we'll explore the choices he made and their consequences for the Ukrainian people. It's a complex situation, and understanding it requires a closer look at the man at the helm. His decisions have shaped Ukraine's current state, for better or worse. Is Zelensky a flawed hero doing his best in a difficult situation, or is he simply a convenient scapegoat for Ukraine's problems? This is a question that has sparked much debate. We'll consider both perspectives, weighing the evidence and opinions from various experts. It's time to delve into the nuances and see where the truth lies. While some praise his resilience and leadership, others criticize his decisions and their impact. Ultimately, the answer may lie somewhere in between, reflecting the complexity of the situation. Ultimately, history will be the final judge of Zelensky's legacy. How will future generations view his time in office? Will he be remembered as a leader who tried to steer his country through turbulent times, or will his tenure be marked by controversy and criticism? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: the story of Zelensky in Ukraine is far from over. As history unfolds, Zelensky's actions will be scrutinized and debated. His legacy will be shaped by the outcomes of his decisions and the resilience of the Ukrainian people. In the end, it's important to consider the views of the audience. What do you think about Zelensky's role in the Ukraine war? Is he a hero, a villain, or something in between? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective adds to the ongoing dialogue about his impact and legacy. Let's engage in a thoughtful discussion and seek a deeper understanding together.